Today, I'm going to talk to you about the top questions you should ask before selling your Miami home. And I'm going to get started now. Hey everyone, my name is Jamey Prezzi. I'm a real estate agent in Miami-Dade and Broward counties. I work with my husband, Ognjen Prezzi, and our team. Today, I want to talk to you about questions that you should ask before selling your Miami home. Now, these are not the generic questions that you can just Google online. These are really important things that you need to think about, and very often things that people have not thought about. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another update. We do put out new videos every week. Also, use the link in our information box and download our free guides. You can also reach out to me by text or email. Whatever works best for you is fine by us. Okay, let's get started. Selling a home in Miami requires a lot of prep work. And sometimes people just want to put the property on the market without going through some of these extra steps. And once you go under contract, some of these things, if you don't take those extra steps, can really derail the process. So let's go over a few extra things that you need to think about before selling your home. Should I move out before listing the home? Now, this is a very good question, and it is really case by case. And ultimately, it depends on the condition of the home now. Can you get the home in show-ready condition? And can you keep it in show-ready condition throughout the duration of the listing? If that answer is no, then maybe you need to wait until you're able to move out of the property, and then we can take photos and then list it. The other thing is, sometimes if you have a tenant in the property, will they make it really hard to show? Do they keep the property really messy? In that case, you should just wait until they're out, and then we can get the property ready and put it on the market. The other thing is, sometimes people have a lot going on in their home, and they're just not able to keep up with keeping a home properly staged in order to get a property sold. Buyers today are already paying a bit higher interest rate. The prices are already high. And so they really expect homes to be in a very specific condition in order to make an offer. They cannot see through the clutter. It's what it is right now. And we have to be able to present a home properly in order to get it sold today. So ultimately, the answer to that question really revolves around the staging of the property, how it looks right now. You know, some of my sellers, they have magazine homes, and they have people who help them maintain that property, and it always looks perfect. And some of my sellers are just not able to keep their home in a perfect condition at all times. It's just important to know that buyers today, they really like homes in very good shape. So we always have to try to make it as good of shape as we can in order to list it. And I'm not always talking about hiring a professional staging company. It really depends on the condition of the home and a lot around the price point. Sometimes it makes sense to bring in a professional stager, and sometimes we just need some very simple decluttering and a little bit of paint. So that's something that we go over at a seller consultation, but asking if you should stay in the home or not for the listing period is a very important first question to always ask. One question that people often forget to ask is, how long will it take to sell my home? The good news is, in our local MLS, we can do a bit of research for you and find out about days on market. And that always goes around price, condition, and location. And we can really dive into this data for you and give you a good idea about how long it may take to sell a home. One thing that's really important to know is if you overprice a property, it will sit on the market a bit longer. And it may take some time for buyers to come back around when you do price reductions. That's really why you want to make sure you get the pricing right so that you can get the property under contract quickly and it doesn't sit on the market a very long time. What do comparable sales, recent sales, really say? Sometimes people will have a look at the pricing of a property that's comparable to their property, and they'll assume that they can also price their property and get it sold at that price. But there's a lot of data that goes into properly pricing a property and goes behind the data of the comps. Beyond looking at recent sales prices, it's really important to look at days on market and the price reductions around those comparable properties. Are homes in your neighborhood needing multiple price cuts to sell, or can you just price competitively from the start and get the property sold? So it's always important to go back and really analyze that data and understand how long it takes to get a property sold. Also, sometimes the condition of the property, maybe it's a new renovated property, and that goes a long way. Maybe also a lot of the insurance items like the roof, the electrical, the AC, and some of those other systems have been recently updated, which adds a lot of value to some of these properties. Will my home pass insurance related issues? Now, very often sellers will say, well, I have insurance, so it's not a big deal. But the reality is you may have something that's grandfathered in, or maybe your insurance company hasn't checked on that item in your property lately. But when a buyer comes out to purchase a property, they will most likely be ordering an inspection, and they will also have to have a 4-point and wind mitigation report. Those reports get sent over to the insurance companies, and then their insurance company will give them estimates. Sometimes, depending on how those reports turn out, if there's a leak, an old roof, something wrong with the electrical, all of those little details can possibly make the home ineligible for insurance. So it may be worth it to do a pre-inspection before you list the property so you know what to expect and you're not caught off guard. What's happening in my condo building? Now, sometimes sellers will say to me, I have no idea what's going on in my building. Actually, that's not sometimes, that's a lot. And so people, when they say this, it makes me a little nervous because they're really not involved, and there can be a lot of issues going on internally inside the building that they may not be aware of, or maybe they know, but they don't even realize that this can create an issue with resale. If you're selling a condominium, has your building had recent special assessments, major repairs, or financial issues? Some buildings have funding or insurance concerns that can make it very difficult for financing for buyers. You really need to make sure that you check with your condominium association and find out what's going on. There's also some very important reports that buyers are asking for. It's part of the condo rider that goes along with a sales contract. And so you want to make sure you have these reports on file or find out what's going on with them so that you can properly give the information to the buyer when they request them. The reality is there's a lot going on in today's resale market. And it is very important that we address all of these important topics before you list a home. These questions and so many more come up every single day for me as a listing agent and for my sellers. And sometimes these questions and the way in which they are answered can derail a home sale. So the more that we can prepare and the more that we know and can mitigate some of these issues, the easier it will be to get your home sold for top dollar in today's market. My name is Jamey Prezzi. This is my husband, Ognjen Prezzi. We are always here to be a resource for you. If you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to us, and we will see you soon.